it's like to experience emotional, relational, and psychological trauma. And it changes you because you don't know what you are made of until you have gone through something. You already know what failure feels like. You already know what it feels like to quit, to stop, to throw in the towel, to sit on the couch, to move to a substance, to put your confidence in some man or some woman, to lay idle. But do you know what it's like to give everything that you have and push and persevere? If you're gonna understand the program of resiliency, we are gonna have to stop running from difficult times. Stop praying that the storm will pass over you and pray to grow through the storm. Stop going around it, go through it. What you go through, you will grow through. Some fights are not won in the first round. Flat out. And the moment that you get that and you get crystal clear and you accept the fact that there are some giants that you will not defeat in the first round. You need endurance. You need stamina to reach some goals. You're not gonna hit the million with the first investment. You're not gonna hit the home run always at first swing. But resiliency says, I belong here and I deserve another shot. I want my opportunity. Give me my opportunity. It's your reaction to adversity, not adversity itself, that determines how your life story will develop. Rock bottom is the solid foundation to build the future. And you've lost everything. You have everything you need. Resiliency says, I tried and I failed. Resiliency has its own mentality. The program of resiliency says, I tried and I failed, I tried and I failed, I tried and I failed, I tried and I failed again. I'm gonna start again, and I'm not waiting till Monday. I'm gonna start right now. I tried again and again, and I succeeded. See, what a lot of people don't know is that the movie, The Matrix, is more of a documentary than it is a movie. See, anytime Neo needed to accomplish something, they would just simply upload the program. If he needed to know Taekwondo, if he needed to know karate, if he needed to speak a different language, he would literally just upload the program to Neo's consciousness. Well, life works the same. There is a program. We all run programs. And it doesn't matter if you're at the county fair. It doesn't matter if you're at the family cookout. It doesn't matter if you're at home watching a movie in the basement or on vacation with your wife or your husband. We're all running a program. And you have default settings within your subconscious. And many of us deal with laziness. Many of us deal with anger. Many of us deal with frustration. And these are different programs that we run. And so now you need to deliberately investigate and examine your internal man and ask yourself, what are the programs I'm running? Because for many of us, laziness is a program. Procrastination is a program. Anger and anguish and bitterness and unforgiveness is a program. And if you're going to hang on to grief and anger and unforgiveness because of the lawsuit or because of the jail time or because of the record that you think somebody messed up or the messy divorce you are going through or the job you lost or the business that tanked, I don't care what the adversity has been, you have two choices. You can be unforgiving, bitter, angry, upset, and be a carrier of grief, or you can choose resilience. You can cope with what happened. You can upload the program of resilience and recover all and get back to the place where you were before the fall. Get up! Stop waiting for the storm to pass and ask yourself the question, what can I accomplish in the rain? What can I accomplish in the rain? Who can I become in the rain? What can I build under these conditions? Resilience is based on compassion for ourselves as well as compassion for others. The future is hinged on your resiliency. Your family is depending on you to put in the work. Your friends, your circles of influence, your mentors. There are people all over the world who are depending on you. So our wounds become wisdom because our perspective. We have a new program. It's called Resiliency.
Are you willing to lose sleep? Are you willing to put the work in? Are you fully persuaded? Are you determined? I don't care how many times life knocks you down, get back up and tell life, I'm supposed to be here. I belong here. Give me what's mine.
When we tackle obstacles, when we face adversity and conflict, it is only then that we find hidden reserves of courage and resilience we didn't even know we had. It's literally only when we face failure that we realize these resources are always there within us. We only need to find them to fulfill our destinies. After life has beaten you and broken you into pieces, resiliency is that gift and ability. It's the discipline to turn those pieces into a work of art.
People tell me all the time, it's hard to get wealthy. It's hard to grind. It's hard to be focused. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay broke. It's hard to stay depressed. It's hard to stay governed by anxiety. It's hard to be inconsistent. It's hard not to have daily disciplines. It's hard not to believe in yourself. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to be poor. It's hard. It's all hard. So choose your heart. You either go work for it, you're gonna sit there and let life knock you down and dare you to get back up.
What do you believe? Because it is our beliefs that determine our behavior. If I can't change my outputs, everything that's coming in, everything that I believe, everything that I see will determine what I do. If I can't do it, if I haven't done it, if it seems impossible, and I won't even try, then something's off with my belief system. For years, decades, generations, families will struggle. And struggle is passed down. Poverty, scarcity, and lack, and losing. And I just want to ask anybody listening to me, why not you? Why can't you be the person that changes everything? The problem with many of you is that you're surrounded by people who ask you the wrong questions. Why do you sweat? Why can't you be the one that makes history? Why can't you be the one that wins again? Why can't you be the one that breaks cycles? Why can't you be the one that overcomes the demons that have haunted a family for generations? I don't know, maybe you're that person listening to me that's always there for everybody else. They text you, you're there. They email you, you're there. They come over, they knock on your door, unexpected, uninvited, and you just make yourself available for them. You're the type of person where other people call you sliding down the wall saying, I can't do this, I can't push, I can't fight, I'm tired, I'm weary. Nothing's working. And you do it for free. It's gratis work. It's philanthropy. For many of us, it's ministry. We've made it a lifestyle. We're always there for everybody else. And I just want to ask the question, and it's not an invitation into narcissism or to be egocentric or to be self-centered, but
to get out of this self-sabotaging, self-destructive behavior, not believing in yourself, not showing up for yourself, not putting it in for yourself. Why not you? But when it comes to you, you don't believe. You don't support you. You don't invest in you. You don't believe you. You don't see it for you. When you don't believe in yourself, it's disempowering, it's self-sabotaging, it's self-destructive. You've got to stop waiting for the opportunity to come along, and you've got to learn to master the art and the privilege of creating the opportunity. What is the vision? What is the aim? What is the target? What is the assignment? And do you believe? Because when you believe, nobody can convince you otherwise. There is no tomorrow. There is no plan B. I am completely devoted to my level 1 priorities. The difference between the man that gets it done and the man that does not is that one man is focused on his history. He's focused on where he has failed. And he's immersed and immobilized by it. No matter the odds, he's completely devoted to this idea that I'm not what I used to be, and I'm not where I want to be. But I have the opportunity and the privilege and the capacity to develop, to go and become something, to evolve, to move from point A to point B. And even though my end game, my target may be S or Z, I know I'm here at C, and I know in order to go from C to E, I need to touch D. If we go back to scripture in the book of Genesis, we'll discover where God said, "Let there be light." He spoke it. Many of you have been listening and taking notes. But you've got to start speaking this thing. Marcus, I've heard this a million times, but the more I speak it, the more I believe it. And the more I believe it, the more potential I can tap into. And the more potential I tap into, the more action I'll take. The more action I take, the more results that I get. And the more results that I get, the more I believe. And the more I believe, the more potential I get. The more potential I tap into. We have an unlimited amount of potential in us. It's called stored up potential. And the only way to unlock stored up potential is to believe. And so as I believe in me, as I put it all on the table, as I put all my chips in, as I leave it all on the floor, as I completely commit to me, as I completely commit to the goal at hand. And people, fathers and mothers make the same mistakes until the one shows up. Until the one shows up that changes everything. Why? Not me. Type it in the comments. Why? Not me. You've got everything you need to go to the next level, to obliterate glass ceilings and move forward. All you got to do is take one step and you're no longer where you are, and you're no longer where you used to be. Just take a step forward. You've got enough zeal and fire and vigor and vitality. You are a person of vision and valor and discipline. You got this thing. Why not you? Stop looking for everybody else to do it. Stop looking for everybody else to support it. Believe in it, to hand it to you, to point you in the right direction. You have everything you need right now in this moment.
Excited. I'm pumped up, fired up, super excited to be here today. We're going to start right away because guess what? We don't want to waste much more time, right? We want to jump into the topic of today. Now, what are we talking about today? We're talking about healing money traumas. Healing money traumas, right? If you're here, I see a lot of people on here on Zoom, you're welcome, right? You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. I'm super excited to have you on here, right? Today, it's amazing. It's going to be a wonderful day, and I'm sure that we're going to have fun. That is the setting. We're going to have fun today, talking about topics that, this is something ingrained in most of our homes. This is something that most of us are currently going through. This is something that we are experiencing in one way or the other, right? Now, to kickstart this whole thing, I want to ask us a question, right? Now, if you're listening to me for the first time, my name is Helen Orejobi. I'm super excited to be your host today, talking to you about this amazing subject matter, right? Why are we talking about money traumas? I see a lot of people go through stress. We're in a country where some people are coming here, they're wishing, they're hoping, they're coming to a land flowing with milk and honey. Mhm. A land flowing with milk and honey, and to some people it's gonna be it's gonna be crazy, right? It's gonna be a year or a land flowing with suffering, pain, hardship, all kinds of stuff, right? So the subject matter that we see on here right now, we're talking about a certain topic in America, right? How this thing, affects you and I, how it affects you and I, right? So right now, um, given the economic situation in America, let me tell you something, right? Right. I want to start with a warm welcome, like I said, to those of you that are just joining. This is a series. It's going to be different topics we're going to be talking about. We're talking about healing money traumas and how you can escape the rat race. America is a country where all kinds of things happen, where everything can be achieved. America is a land of the blessed, is a land of the rich. It can also be a land of dreamers. But guess what? Some people see nightmares. Some people are experiencing all manner of things because you fail to understand there is a certain system that is at play here in America. So if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mark your calendar. You want to make it a date with us every Tuesday, right? On this topic, we're going to be talking about this same topic every other time, right? Now, guess what? I want to ask you a question right now. Right? I want to ask us a question. And now this question that I'm trying to ask us is very, very crucial. I want you to be honest. I want you to be truthful. I want you to think through it as I ask this question. The question I'm going to ask us right now is, what has your journey been? Right? The question I'm going to ask us today now is, what has your journey been? I'm going to stop sharing for a while, right? Because I want us to be able to understand what it is we're talking about, right? What has your trauma, what has your money um stuff been? What is that looking like? Those are the questions I want to ask us this day, right? So I'm trying to unmute. I think somebody came in to the meeting and I had to unmute that person right away. Now, the question that I want to ask us right now is, what is your money trauma like? Right? What is your money trauma like? What is your story? Every one of us have a story. Every one of us came from a home. Every one of us have different things that is, making us wake up every day to go at that job, to do what we do every day. Because what? When you go out every day, guess what? You're going out to make a living. That is the primary goal, right? You go out every day of your house. You're going out to make a living. You're going out to see how you can achieve financial freedom. Now, let's talk about a subject or a topic that is most prevailing right now. We're in a recession. We have a new government in place. We have new changes. We have a lot of things going on. There's a lot of displacement at their job. People are losing their job left, right, center. People don't even know where their next meal will come from, right? So if you're on this call, you're listening to me today, I want to ask you a very, very valid question. And I want you to be truthful, right? I want you to be truthful. Sorry, I'm just moving my stuff around. Is just for a reason, because I want us to be focused and I want us to understand, what it is that we're here to do, right? This is not a child's play. This is not that time where you want to play. This is a very crucial moment where you want to, take your time and understand what it is we're doing, right? So my question now for us today is, right? I love when we talk about stuff like this. It actually activates that inner passion in us, right? Now, the question that I want to ask us today is, right, what is your fallback plan if you were to be let off at a job? If for those of us that are working, what is your fallback plan today? If you were to be let off your job, what is your fallback plan today, right? What is that recession-proof plan you have to ensure that you don't lose everything you've set out to do? Because as I'm talking, every one of us has experienced one form of, impact with a new country, with a new president, with a new economy, with a new change in power, right? You're feeling the impact in one way or the other. But what is your fallback plan if something were to be happening to you or to your loved ones? If you're not able to go in and clock in and clock out and exchange value and get money to pay your bills, what is your fallback plan? That is your assignment. So if you're coming on the call next week, let's talk about that. Let's settle that. Now, I want to ask us a quick question, right? Think back when you were young. What was your money affirmation? What was your thought process like? Especially when you were not paying any bill, right? What was those things in your head? You always wanted to buy something. You always, wish you can get something. You had this mind that I can do this, I can achieve that, I can do this, I can do that. But what happened to you, right? How were your parents in relationship to money? What did you see your parents do? These are questions I want you to, think through. If you're a mom on this call, I want you to think through it. Why am I asking you to think through it? Because you have kids. Your children are going to do the same thing. What is your current money habits right now? Right? If you learned how to take your money, or your money habits were formed at your very, very crucial age when you were younger, now come to think of it, now you're an adult. What is to say that your children are not mirroring you? Because everything we do as parents, our children mirror those characteristics. So the question now, right, that I'm always asking, I always ask the question is, what are you going to do differently from what your parent had done? Now, I'll tell you a story, right? Tell you a story about a friend of mine, right? Made so much money. She came from a family, 13 people in the family. She always knew that struggle was the norm in their family, right? And then after she made money, she was always sending money back home, taking care of her family. If you know somebody in that kind of boat, you know what I'm talking about, right? Sometimes they put the emotional blame on you, and then you feel like you're the one responsible for even your siblings, right? And your parents that should be taking care of you. Your parents are supposed to be taking care of you, but if you're from an African descent like myself, you understand that the pressure, is mounting, especially when you are the only one that has, if I would permit me to use the word, if you've seen the light, right? Now, as I'm talking to you, she's down, no job, sick, bedridden, now no money because she was used to fending for other people and never thought about herself, right? Some people, you want to be Mother Teresa, you want to be nice, but you're not considering that there'll be a time in your life, which I always call the night time in your life. What are you going to do at that time? Right? What are you going to do for survival? Those are the things that when you start thinking of, right? So I tell you how we formed our money, habits. If you were opportune to have parents that were savvy, trust me, right now you're going to be really good because you're mirroring what your parents did. I'm not talking about parents that are professionals that never stayed at home, right? I'm talking about if you were blessed to have families or parents that were into business like myself. My dad was a contractor for many years with the embassy, British Embassy in Nigeria. And then my mom was a business person. She had a restaurant, right? So now I'm in business. I have a degree. My first degree was in business management from the University of Sunderland in the UK. Now I have a master's degree in information technology, right? But guess what? I am talking about money. This is what I now do for a living, right? I talk about money. I'm a financial educator. I talk about your money habits. Why? Because, as a young child growing up, I had to borrow, certain, attributes of my parents. I took my mom's business attributes, right? And I took my dad's, contracting attributes, business, go-getter, and all that. But then between my mom and my dad, my mom was more, you know, prudent on spending. She was good with making money, but she also knew how to manage her funds. But unlike my dad, my dad's money, because he's into contract, he always knows I will always get money here and there, right? So he was always used to spending money, is what I mean. Spending money, hoping that, oh, month end they're gonna pay because it's a renewable contract, right? Now, if you are on this boat, you're listening to me right now, or you're listening another day, you want to go back and trace what your parents' money habit was, right? And then look at what you're doing right now because you are a direct reflection of your parents, right? Now, talking about me borrowing the attribute of my parents, I'm always used to doing stuff, cash, do this, do that, because I know, well, money will come. But now that I'm a financial educator, beg your pardon, I now understand that you're not supposed to spend all you have, right? So what my mom was doing now is not beginning to make sense because nobody really taught us about money. We went to school to study all kinds of stuff. While I was in high school, I was in science class, right? For most of us that know what that is. And then I wanted to be a petrochemical engineer and I left school, came out, but guess what? I ended up doing something opposite because the business side, the moolah, the money was pulling me. I always wanted to be innovative. I always want to be a solution provider. I always want to, give people solution and get paid. And that took me through that route, right? I finished from school. I ended up becoming a realtor, right? I give people homes. I love lovely homes. I love talking about designs, the finishing, the tiling, and all of this stuff. It makes me feel good. And then now, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm now educating people because I have been here and there. I've seen the ups and the downs in this thing, but now I understand that you getting financial education is a key, education that everybody needs. The funny thing is a lot of us know how to make money, but most of us don't know how to save money, right? We're very pretty much, established on making money as an African, as a Nigerian, was so super pumped up, fired up. We want to be the best in everything. Like I said, I already came to America as a degree holder and I went back to school over here to get a master's degree, right? I see a lot of my friends, they're going to do a PhD. I'm like, man, I don't have time to keep reading, right? But what I'm saying in essence is we are good in making money, but who has sat down with you to teach you, aside from your parents, right, on how you can make the money work for you? It's one thing to make money as another thing to make the same money work for you. So that is what we're talking about here. Now, aside from your parents, your environment matters, right? A lot of us sitting on this call right now, most people, right, are surrounded with naysayers, negative people. Look around you. Who are always the people around you? Your top five people determine your financial status, right? If you have friends and family right now, you want to be watching what they're doing. What are they doing with their money? What are their money habits? What are their money affirmation? Right? Those people that are around you that hate money, right? Some of my friends, when they hear of money, maybe somebody's rich around them. Some people are really mad, like they get really mad. I'm talking about they get super mad, like, oh, what does this person feel like? Like, do they think they're the only one that make money? Those kind of people, you want to avoid them because they have a way of soaking that energy of permeating your heart and making you start thinking that way. So when next you see someone that has money, guess what you're going to start doing? You're going to be like, oh, now where they get their money from, you'll be doubting people, you'll be resenting people because of your environment, right? Our environment makes us, right? So the reason why the rich get rich and the poor remain poor is in the environment, right? If you notice people that are well-to-do or people that were just average and immediately they start making money, the first thing they want to do, they want to change their zip code. Now you don't want to be around the same kind of caliber of people, you don't want to be in the same neighborhood, you just feel like I need an upgrade, right? Why? Because you have a little bit of coins, right? You have a little money, you've got the bag, you just want to now navigate yourself towards the other side where people that have money don't, they won't look at you like, oh duh, you're the only one out. No, Because if you're around average people, they try to bring you down. Is that how you join them or you leave, right? Now, your environment is so much important that it has a very, very strong role in what your outcome is going to look like. If you're in your 20s right now, watch out for your friends, your 30s, 40s, right? You want to watch out for your environment. If what you did in your 20s, if you were used to playing and hanging around people that were broke, heading nowhere, right? You have no plan, no future plan. Now you're in your 30s, right? You're still trying to figure out, okay, what do I have to do? Blah, 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 blah. But if you're in your 40s, you don't have time to play anymore, right? Haven't you heard a fool at 40 is a fool forever? You want to make sure that you're making the right choices, right? And then when you're in your 50s, trust me, you've been through life, you've been through the ups and downs. Now, all the experiences that you gathered while you were in your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s, you want to now put those experiences to play. You should be mentoring people. At this point, you don't need to make mistakes. You want to apply principles that work. And you agree with me that principles govern everything that you do, right? If you're in your 40s, you want to start looking for mentors. Your 30s, your 40s, look for mentors. Look for people that have achieved the life that you want to achieve. There's no need reinventing the wheel. Go after people that have proven results. They have overcome where you are. They came out, with burn scars, and they can tell you stories. They can tell you, hey, if you do this, this is the result. If you do that, this is the result. They give you this whole thing in a blueprint. And if you run that play, right, when it's being handed to you, you're going to produce the same result. We call that duplication. You don't want to waste precious time, money, and effort, resources, trying to learn something that somebody could literally give to you, right? On a platter, right? That's what we're financial coaches. We know these things. We've been there, we've been taught, we know the code, and we're licensed. I am actually licensed to tell you one or two things that most people are not supposed to tell you, because there's certain code or certain things that if you're not licensed, you discuss, it's a criminal offense, right? Now, the number three thing that really, really, influences our money habits is your mental capacity. It's your mindset, right? I said it at first. I said, what are those words? What are those affirmations? What are the things that you constantly say to yourself? Who are the people that spoke negativity into your life, right? As children, if you're a parent here and you're listening to me, you want to make sure that you guide your kids. The scripture said, guide your hearts, right? And your ears. Your ear is a window, right? You want to be careful what goes in your ear. We have different windows and portals in which things can permeate you. I don't want to go spiritual right now. I want to stay on this topic. Let's not deviate, right? Your eyes, what are your eyes seeing? Your eyes see negativity. Your mind's eye, there's a physical eye and there's a mind's eye. What is your mind telling you, right? Whenever you close your eyes or you're constantly thinking, what is the predominant thoughts in your life? Are you always thinking about negativity? You're always thinking about, positive thoughts? Are you always thinking about results, goal-oriented results? Are you always getting defeated before you even get started? Do you always say, oh my God, I don't think I can do it? Do you say it verbally or you say it in your mind, right? What are you doing about your mind? Sometimes your mind can be the stumbling block between you and you achieving financial freedom, because nobody has ever been rich in your family. Doesn't mean you're not going to be the first, right? Now, some people are like, oh, nobody has ever achieved this thing, right? Everybody in my family, always have one thing like this. When it comes like this, it happens like that. Like there's certain people that tell you, oh, that if somebody is doing something, everybody is doing something. If I go and do it, it will close or it will not work for me. Have you met such kind of people? Right. Now, those kind of people already had settled, with a situation that my life cannot change because of certain patterns, certain happenings, certain results, certain, recurrent stuff that has happened either in their lineage or in the past. So they've been tracking patterns instead of them looking at patterns and replacing patterns with positivity, right? Even though stuff happens to other people, right? What are you saying? Because the God that we serve is a speaking God, right? We are created from words. Even the enemy, the people from the other side, Guess what? They chant, they say words. If they have to do something, they have to speak. What are you speaking about your life? What are you speaking about your financial situation? What are you seeing, right? There's a movie that I want you to watch, right? Pretty much most of us have seen that movie, right? The Pursuit of Happiness. In your journey to happiness, right? There's certain stages you have to grow, go through to grow through, right? You need to settle it today that guess what? Whatever situation is happening around me, I must overcome this level for me to move up. Life is in stages. If you've not overcome this level, you cannot move up, right? So you want to understand that you have to, achieve a certain level, a certain milestone. You need to gain that entrance, you need to move up, right, for you to be able to achieve what you want to do, right? Now, if you don't do this, you are stagnant, right? So in life stages, you must be willing to grow through your current situation by documenting stuff instead of you sucking up and getting pissed off and complaining and doing all kinds of stuff. Because guess what, even the Bible says God doesn't like people that complain. It's a sin, right? It's a sin for you to complain. Instead of you complaining, you want to thank God. That's why he said, in everything gives thanks. Now, what you should be doing at that point, right? You should be thanking God for giving you the ability to see this stage so that you can help people when it's time. Because you understand that those people that go through a lot, especially physically, spiritually, there's a calling, there's a very big anointing on you, there's a level of grace upon you that if you don't grow through that stuff, you're not going to be able to come into that full capacity. That's why you have to grow through it, right? So what you're going to do right now, you want to watch that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. Is going to train you on what to do, right? It's going to train your mindset. So whenever you feel like throwing in the bucket, whenever you feel like I'm done with this, it's why am I the only one? What is going on? I'm tired and all that. Whenever you feel like giving into negativity or those negative thoughts or those negative voices, you want to remember that at the end of the tunnel, there's a light, right? So you want to go through it, document the process, because guess what? Even in the mess that you are in currently, right? You can write your way out of that. You can make money from that, right? I was listening to Eric Thomas today, where he said when things were going wrong with him, he was writing. He was writing a book about the journey. And then when things turn around, right, he completed the book and then he became a bestseller. So what are those stories that you have not even put down? What are those stories that God is giving you? Because your life triumph, your life's journey can be a testimony for other people. It can be a source of strength for other people. So you got to think about it, right? So the mindset is a major, major problem when it comes to money traumas. Most of us are scared. Most of us are defeated. Most of us cannot even function. If you can win the battle of the mind, every other thing is secondary because everything now begins to align. You're beginning to see clearly. You're beginning to reason clear thoughts, right? So those are the three things. Like I said, if you're watching on a later date right now, we're streaming live on YouTube. You want to make sure that you pause and write out those steps. I already given you assignments to do. I give you another one. I said, go watch the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. Is going to show you how tenacity, right, can help build you, because if you grow from that stage, nothing can move you. You need to understand that even in the midst of nothing, right? If you can find joy in having nothing, you have overcome that stage. And then God will release the next level to you. But if you've not overcome that stage, you're not going anywhere, right? Because guess what? People that are complaining and bitter and angry, they cannot see outside the box. They're in that bubble, and in that bubble you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're in self-denial. You're destroying yourself because you can't see clearly. When people come out to you to help you, even there's an opportunity right now, the fear, right, of even losing, the fear of quitting even stops people from even taking the first step, right? You need to be able to walk, right, take that first step, and then the help will come. But if you are scared of even beginning, right, who can help you? So those are the things that I'm talking about today, right? Guess what? You want to make sure that you check the patterns from when you were a child, right? If your parents are still alive, you want to ask them questions. Go and ask them, How did you learn about this? They're going to tell you. Maybe I learned from my father, I learned from my mother, I learned from here, I learned from that. Those habits that they formed is not you. Who taught them? Find out who taught them. And then you want to study what the wealthy and savvy people do. Try to replace everything that you learned from your parents. Sometimes you might not know you learned it because as a child, you are sponging up your parents. They're your mirror. You're looking up to them, right? Children as kids, they learn more than they hear. If you're talking to your children, don't do that. But you end up doing it. The child will question you and like, well, mom, you did this, right? But if you say don't do that, and they notice that you don't personally do that, right? They're not going to do it. But then you're telling them, don't do this, and you're not telling them why they shouldn't do it, right? You're just scolding them and all that. They're like, okay, so when you're not there, they will still do it anyway. So you want to make sure that you are understanding where these patterns are coming from. If you can trace it back to the root, you can easily eliminate it. So if you want to heal from money trauma, you want to make sure you ask your parents if they're alive. You're lucky to have them alive. Find out from them. Like I told you, I took a lot of from my mom and my dad. But guess what? I noticed that my mom's side was good in terms of business. My both parents were business people anyway. Right? My dad's still alive. To God be the glory. My mom is gone. Bless her soul. But guess what? The bad side, right, that I have when it comes to wasteful spending, always wanting to buy stuff, always want to give out all I have, right? Those were from my dad, right? Sometimes it feels good, but guess what? Are you really doing what you're doing because you love to help, or you're doing it because of people pleasing? You need to trace this back, right? Why I'm saying this is my dad was very good, like very well to do. And after a while, because I told you he's a contractor, contracts don't last forever, right? And then after a while, all the people he was sponsoring in school, business, trade, and all that, he soon found out they were close to him because of what they were getting, right? So you need to trace around your circle, the people around me. Are they with me because of what they're getting, or are they with me for real, right? If you're not able to check your circle and understand the caliber of people around you, you're already set up to fail, right? Because remember, I said the 5 closest people to you, right, will either do this, they'll either pull you up or pull you down, right? If you're not financially strong, if you're not mentally strong, and you have people that are always talking negativity, people that are going nowhere to happen, people that just love being comfortable where they are, they can easily pull you because we are spirit beings. If somebody's constantly pouring into you, you're listening to them. Remember, I told you that we have different channels where things get into our soul and our body through your eyes, your ear, right? Your other parts, right, that are open. I don't want to mention all those here. You want to checkmate what you're listening. If you check your life pattern, do a 6-month back check of your life, do a 12 months. Who are those people that were on that journey with me? You want to check to see who has been feeding you with words, right? Who are the people around your circle? If you do that clearly, honestly, you're going to be eliminating a lot of stuff from your life, right? So I urge us, right, to do what we can to make sure that we're doing everything it takes to be financially savvy, but you need to purge yourself from the past. You cannot heal completely if you don't understand the root cause. You need to trace it back so you'll be able to understand the root cause. And once you do that, everything will begin to align with you, and you begin to understand, right, the reason why you're doing what you're doing, right? So I want us to really understand what it is that we are called to do. Now, to wrap up what I was trying to say, I'm just going to share a little bit of all I'm saying. Like I said, right? The money game, you need to understand that, right? Money is a medium of exchange, right? Between people. People buy and sell goods and all that, right? So you want to understand, who am I exchanging this money with, right? What am I really doing about my money habits? What is my money habits right now? You want to know all those stuff. And once you start knowing all those stuff, everything will begin to align, right? But if you don't understand your money habits, you're wasting your time. You're just going to sit down there feeling like you're achieving something, but guess what? You're not achieving anything because you're stuck, right? And once you're stuck, that's it, right? You're stuck. You don't understand the time value of money. For every money that you send out, your money is supposed to be on an assignment, right? Not everybody is supposed to touch the money that you give out, right? I don't want to go all those parts, but money is a means of exchange. What are you giving to people, right? What are you exchanging? You exchange money is for you to make money, you spend sweat, blood, equity, and all that. So you giving people money, where is that money going to? There are certain places you need to understand about money. Money, right, responds to you if you're doing the right thing. But if you're not doing the right thing, right, you're killing yourself, basically, right? Now, the fact that money is a means of exchange, right? Like I said, your parents' relationship to money is really crucial, right? You want to understand what are those limiting factors that your parents, had when they were growing up as a child? What were those limiting factors that you had, right? All those things are things that you want to think about, because this shapes your mindset, it shapes your horizon, it shapes everything about you, right? Some of us, we fear, that we don't want to spend money because from somewhere someone refused to spend money because they keep money safe. They want to keep the money safe in the bank. They don't want to spend. They're very, very, very nice with money. But guess what? Your money sitting in the bank is not making money. That's another factor, right? Some of your parents were like, oh, my mom knows how to save, blah, 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 but the money is not growing. You go to your checking account, your savings account, it still remains the same, right? Because you don't understand that your money is supposed to be bringing money for you, right? The impact of this is it impacts you in a big way, right? But you want to ask your parents if they're alive, like I said, go find out what they're doing about money. Number two, I said your environment is very key, right? So you want to find out what those economic conditions are around you. Right now, the environment right now, the economy right now is very, very volatile. There's a lot of layoffs going down. There's a lot of things that are happening that's going to change people's financial situation from good to worse, right? And then cultural expectation. If you are from, like I said, if you're from Africa, if you're from other countries, you're an immigrant, a lot of people back home will depend on you financially, right? And then social pressure, you want to make sure you want to keep up appearances. One of the social media pressures that most people have, you go on social media right now, that's in a very, very toxic environment. People are flaunting wealth here and there. People are flaunting all kinds of things, and you think it's the norm, and then you're worried, sick, you want to strive. You're making a little bit of money, you spend all the money just to keep up appearances. Nobody cares. The most important thing is if you don't have enough saved up, when you really need it, you're going to have it hard, right? And then, like I said, the mindset, right? You have to change your mindset. What are your affirmations, right? What are the things that you're constantly saying to yourself? These are the things that you have to keep saying, right? Do you have a scarcity mindset? You need to start replacing it with an abundant mindset, right? You need to say the right words, right? Stop saying there's never enough money, even if that is what you're seeing, but don't speak it out with your mouth. Don't think it from your head, right? The good news is what your subconscious and your mouth, your physical words are saying. If your subconscious and your words that you utter are aligning, things will begin to change for you. So you need to train yourself for your mind to see the things that be not as though they were, right? You want to lead, right? Lead with abundance and leave fear alone, right? And then for abundant mindset, you want to create that wealth, you know, in your heart. You want to start thinking about smart money choices, right? And then if you want to know how to do this, you can click the link in the bio. If you're on YouTube, you want to click the link in the bio and find out how you can get this done. If you're watching this on another day on Facebook, you want to do the same thing, right? If you're listening live right now, you want to do the same thing. Trust me, right? Now, understanding money trauma is very key, right? This was from CNBC, right? It says, according to American, Psychological Association, about 70% of Americans reports feeling stressed about money. This is very, very, very recent. This is key. So you're not alone on this journey. It's a norm within the American society. It's what's been happening, right? So you want to make sure that you are not part of this number. That's a huge number, right? So the journey that we're taking is a series in different forms. We're going to be talking to you about other stuff. This is series 2, right? We started last week, series 2, right? Now, guess what? How money trauma develops, like I said, this is a research as well, right? It says, right, it's formed from age 7. So if you have young kids at home, You want to make sure you're doing the right things around them. When it comes to money, be careful what you do with money. Be careful what you utter with your mouth. You cannot, your child wants something, you're not going to say, oh, we don't have money. No, you're going to say right now, it's not in the budget. You want to replace certain words with certain words, right? You want to replace negativity with certain words. You don't want your children to say, oh, we don't have money. They start thinking we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. When they grow old, subconsciously they say, oh, I don't have money, I don't, because they've been programmed as a child to know we don't have money, right? So whatever you do right now, if you have young children at home, you want to start learning how you can change your children's mindset from good to great, right? Now, before we wrap up, we have 2 money mindset quiz that's we're going to do today. And then that's mindset quiz is this, right? So you're going to look on here and ask yourself, you're going to do this for yourself anyway. Now, the goal is, how do you feel when checking your bank account, right? A, are you excited? I love tracking my money. Or B, right? You just part of life. You're neutral. You just want, it's a normal thing. Or you're anxious, right? I avoid checking unless I must. Or you're confused. I don't really know where my money goes. If you are in this category, please write it down, right? So next week, right, we're going to talk about that. But if you want to book a one-on-one appointment with me, let's know so we know what to do about that, right? Now, number 2, when you receive unexpected, money, what do you do first? When you get maybe a gift or whatever kind of money that you didn't plan for, right? What do you do first? Number 1, are you quick to invest or save it? Number 2, do you pay up debt or cover expenses? Number 3, do you treat yourself like, oh, I deserve this money, you want to spend it and have fun, like a reward system? Or number 4, do you lend or give it to someone else in need, right? You see all those questions, these are things that people do. You do this on a regular. I just want you to pick the right answer. There's a reason why we're doing this, because like I said, if you book that appointment, we're going to sit through and look at all this. And then number 3, what's your first thought when you hear wealthy people? Be frank. Remember, I said a lot of people get really pissed off when they see people that are rich, but let's look at the category. Number 1, oh, these people are smart and strategic. They know how to make money. Is that your thought process? Or number 2, do you say, oh, they are just lucky? Some people are just born, into it. Or number 3, do you say they are greedy? They probably took advantage of other people. Or number 4, which is D, not for me. I'll never be one of them, right? Because some people despise money. I'll tell you a story. I was talking to a client recently. She's recently, retired. She's about 60, if I'm not mistaken, 66, 67, right? She bought her house, her first house. She used to be in New York. She moved down to Houston, and then she bought her first house and she paid $120,000 cash. And when I met her, I was like, oh my God, if I'd met you because the house, by the time I met her, which was like last month, her house was like maybe 6, 7 months now. She moved in May. So I was like, if I'd met you, literally, I would have not made you put 120 down. Yes, I used to be a realtor, but now I'm a financial educator. I would have made you put the money in an account, take out some from there, just a fraction of that, go buy the house, and then that 120 or 100 or 10 or 100,000 is making money for you, so that over time you'll be able to take out money from the interest that the money will get to pay down that house, right? But most of us on here, if you have money, you want to buy cash, right? So once, and then she told me some, say, Helen, don't worry, I have a social security from my job. She used to work with FedEx for years. She was there with them for 16 years. The question that I ask everybody on this call is, how many of you have social security? Because most of us keep changing jobs from job to job, so you don't have anything coming in because there's nothing you see what I mean? You don't like your boss, you change your job. Maybe they're not paying you well, you change your job, something is happening. We keep switching jobs. Oftentimes you're not going to get social security benefits, right? Or pension, rather pension, because she has pension and then social security, and then her late husband's, pension as well. So she has a lot of money at her disposal. And I asked her, and she told me, no, I'm just okay, because after putting the 120 down, her mortgage now came down to 1,100. So on the average, she spends only about 1,500 a month. And she told me, oh, Helen, I love stuff. I used to be bougie and all that. But guess what? I don't spend money on clothes because I have a lot of stuff, because she used to buy quality stuff. So she doesn't really spend money. She told me I don't need to be wealthy. I'm just okay. right? So don't even try to help me invest the money or whatever. I'm just okay. And then one thing she said that caught me, she said, I'd rather give people money than, and I told her, if you keep giving people the little that you think you have, right, soon your money is going to finish. But now let me show you how you can still be a blessing to people. You will still need to reinvest that money, take the profits, and then you do the ministry work. And then guess what? If you're into giving stuff, you rather register that business as a 501c, right? A non-profit, because they don't tax you. And then guess what? You can actually do what is called equity stripping, right? So those are calls you want to know how to make money, how to make your money work for you. We're going to talk about that one-on-one appointment if you want. But now the number 4 thing that is here, which is the last one, is if an emergency expense came up today, right? Say you had like a $500 car repair. What are you going to do? How would you handle it, right? So be truthful, right? Because what we're doing something really good here. We want to make sure that we're capturing all your habits so we can help you effectively, right? Are you going to quickly go, right? You say, oh, no problem, I have savings. Or number 2, would you put it on a credit card or pay it off later? Or number 3, borrow from a friend or family member. And then number 4, would you panic? I wouldn't know what to do, right? So these are the things that I want us to do. If you answered any of this question, you want to send me, either DM me on YouTube. If you're watching a later date on Facebook, you want to DM me personally your answer, and then let's walk the magic and help you to the next level, right? Now, I'm going to wrap up in a second, right? I'm going to wrap up in a second. But before I go into talking about positive stuff, I'm going to talk about the last one. I have one more to go, right? One more quiz, and then we'll talk about the answer, actually. We'll talk about the answer. Let me give it now so that you can do the assignment that I asked you to do, right? What best describes your approach to budgeting? Are you, number 1, I have a solid budget and I stick to it. No matter what happens, I'm sticking to this budget. Or are you, I try to budget but don't always follow through due to lack of discipline? Or number 3, I spend what I have and hope it lasts. Or number 4, I don't budget, it feels restrictive, right? If you are part of all these 5, right, your answer correctly, let's do the quiz results. This is it. So if you answered A mostly, if your answer was A mostly, right, guess what? You are on the wealth builder track, right? You have a strong money mindset and you are focused on financial growth, right? You see money as a tool and prioritize smart financial decisions. Keep building wealth by expanding your investments and financial literacy knowledge. You want to link up with me so that we can put asset protection and give you what is called estate planning to make sure that the money stays in your family. The wealth that you're building stay with your family, and nobody, penetrates it or tries to, sue you or do any form of foul play to make sure that this money doesn't continue in your lineage and that wealth is cut short. But if your answer is B mostly, right, it means you're, stability seeker. You're still looking, right? So right now you aim for financial security but struggle with consistency, right? We can help you with that discipline with some of the services that we're going to give you. We'll start with a free 30-40 minutes, consultation with you, and then we'll help you build on what you already have and give you that stability that you need, right? Now, guess what? You understand the importance of budgeting, but sometimes, guess what? It's challenging. Are you in this category? With a little more financial discipline, like I said, you can achieve long-term success. And then guess what? If you're on this call and then your answer was mostly C, you are the impulse spender, right? I used to be like this. Like I buy stuff out of, I need to, let me just buy this for temporary fix. I just feel maybe if I just buy this stuff, I'll be happy a little bit. Or maybe if I just do this, if I go here, I'm going to be happy. And then you spend the money, you're back to square one, right? It didn't do anything. It's just a temporary fix, right? You buy on impulse. You live in the moment and enjoy spending. But this may come at the cost of long-term security, right? Now, guess what? Start by setting smart financial goals and practicing mindful spending to balance, right, enjoyment and responsibility. This is what I want you to start doing as much as possible. right? As much as possible. You want to start doing that as much as possible. And then guess what? If your answer was mostly D, right? Now, this is a dreadful one, right? The fearful avoider, right? You want to be savvy, you want to be safe. People that play safe, they don't want to waste money, right? Money stresses you out. So when you hear people talk about money, I'm like, oh my God, this is too much for me. I can't deal with this. You know, you may avoid financial decisions altogether, right? If you are in this category, the first step is facing your financial, game plan with a positive outlook, right? You need to start defeating those negative voice, right? Remember, I told you there are three factors. Number one factor is your childhood, well, parents' relationship with money, or if you have guardian, those that you grew up with that raised you, right? What was their relationship with money? Number two, the environment, the people that have been speaking in your life, right? The top 5, 10 people that have been speaking in your life, what are their money habits like? And then lastly, the mindset. So this is a mindset thing, right? So you want to start learning basic budgeting and saving techniques to build confidence, right? We can teach you that because we have 4 buckets that we try to fill. We have the bucket number 1, which is the emergency fund. Bucket number 2, because we know a lot of people, remember the people that chose C, they love to spend, they love fun, they love to hang out and all that. Bucket number 2 is your fun bucket. And then bucket number 3 is your bucket number 1 is your bill. You gotta pay bill. Bucket number 2 is your fund bucket. Bucket number 3 is your emergency fund. So that bucket number 3 is super important. In as much as you're doing everything you're doing, you should be contributing bucket number 3 monthly, right? Until you can achieve at least 12 months of your living expense in that bucket that stays in your savings account, right? And then bucket number 4 is the bucket where you invest in high yield savings account that gives you tax-free growth, right? You can also save the money in the bucket number 3 in a high yield savings account, right? So you can actually be taking advantage of the percentage that they give you, the interest percentage in the return, but it's not protecting you all the way out. But then bucket number 4, which is very important, that's your retirement bucket, right? Don't say, oh, because I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, I'm too young. You need to start now, right? If you start saving $100 at 20, trust me, by the time you retire at 65, you will have a ton of money saved up, and then you don't need to go and clock in and clock out anytime, any day. All right, so that brings me to the end of today's topic. I hope we had value. I hope we enjoyed ourselves, right? Remember, I said you want to reach out to me, let's talk, let's see where we can help you. The links will be in the chat, right? You can chat me up on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is Helen Orejobi. It's going to be all in the description in the YouTube video, right? And then if you're on Facebook, you can chat me up there as well. You can book a direct consultation with my link, and then we'll sit with you 30-40 minutes. Let's look at your numbers. If they're not numbering, we can help you get that done, right? Remember, the sky is just the starting point, but what you do today, right, will tell what your life will be like. And then the life you didn't plan today, right, is going to tell you, right, if you are going to have a desired outcome. Now, if you don't plan well, your desired outcome now is going to be poor, it's going to be bad, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be sick. If you don't have money, stress is a major factor, right? If you don't have money, you're going to be stressed up, depression kicks in, and then your lifespan might be cut down. But that's not what God has decreed for you. But God said, right, that seeking first the kingdom of God and every other thing will be added. So you want to go to him first, and he's the one that gives the ability to make wealth. So whatever you do, you want to stay locked in with God, your creator. I wish you all well, right? I see you at the top. Remember, nothing, right, stays the same. You want to keep doing everything you're doing to achieve financial freedom. Remain blessed. See you at the top. Bye-bye for now. See you next week, Tuesday. Same time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Share this